Hello, it's Jenkins, the family law vlogger here, and in this vlog we're going to continue the stages of divorce series. So we've been going through the Form E and various different aspects to fill in, and the next stage, we looked at businesses last time, the next stage is the pension section. Now, there are some separate blogs on the importance of pensions in divorce and some of the implications around looking at pension sharing and getting advice from an actuary on separate vlogs, so have a look at those. This one specifically is about the page in the Form E, which is designed to ask you to provide information about your pension. Now, the first thing to say is that in the standard Form E document that you'll have received, there's just one page. But actually what you need is to fill in a page for each different pension that you may have. So if you have 3 or 4 pensions, you can photocopy or add extra pages so that you've got a page for each pension, because you need to provide separate information about each pension scheme that you have. Now, the pension information you're asked to provide is the name of the fund, the details of the funds, the address, the other information, so your policy number or your fund number. Then you're asked for a cash equivalent value of the pension. Now, this depends a bit on what information you've already got, but you're likely to have to contact the pension provider to get what's called the cash equivalent value. Now, most pension providers send out a transfer value or an annual valuation every year to those with a pension, which has a particular valuation approach on it, usually called the transfer value. The figure that the Form E requires is a different actuarial calculation. It's called a cash equivalent value. And if you contact the pension fund and you ask them for the cash equivalent value for the purposes of divorce conversations, they should send this to you. And then you can include that figure, and you're asked to provide the date when the information was provided in the form. If you haven't got that, and you have got the transfer value on the sort of annual information that you're given, then fill that in anyway if you're under time pressure for filling in the Form E, and then ask the cash equivalent value separately and provide it later. If you have a financial advisor or somebody else advising on the finances, or indeed a solicitor, they may well want you to contact the pension company, or they may contact the pension company for some further information by asking the pension company to complete what's called a Form P, which provides further information which is going to be relevant to discussions about pensions. And so you may well want to do that. But if you're filling in the Form E by yourself, then my suggestion is that you fill in a page for each of the pensions you've got and include the information that you have, even if it's just the annual statement. One of the questions that often comes up when people are filling in Forms E is, do I really need to go back and find the details of that very small pension I had for a couple of years or a few years earlier in the relationship or before the relationship? Do I really need to do that? It'll only be a small pension. The short answer to that question is yes, you do. Now, that can take a bit of time. So I always say to people filling in Forms E, start with the pension section, dig out the pension information you've got at home or online, and start with the pension section, because you may well need to apply to the pension companies for more information, as I've said, the cash equivalent value, or simply to understand whether you've still got a pension with them or not. Also, the other reason for starting the pension section early is that even if you know the pension, so say, for example, you've got an NHS scheme or a teacher's pension scheme, and you ask them for the cash equivalent value, it can take them several months to produce that information. And that may be time that otherwise is eaten up in the production of the Form E. So my top tips are: look at the pension section first, dig out the information that you've got, contact the relevant pension companies and ask them for the baseline information, at least the cash equivalent value. And then if you're under timescale deadlines, you've got a court process for filling in the Form E. Fill in what you've got, and then you can provide the further information later. As always with the Family Law Vlog, this can only be general information. And if you need specific information about your situation, in particular about pensions and how they impact on your financial disclosure and a separation or divorce, then please do contact me or one of my specialist colleagues in the family and children team at Mills & Reeve, and our details will be under this vlog. Thanks very much.